Very well, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. Last time we defeated the Emerald Weapon. We saw to do that, and now the only thing remaining, now that all weapons are dead, is to defeat the big guy Sephiroth in the center of the planet. So what we have to do now is to decide how we actually want to do that. Now, with the equipment we have, if we were to use the strongest equipment we have, we would destroy him in no time, and it wouldn't even be fun. So I thought about a little bit of challenge for myself to make it a little bit more interesting for us. Anyway, what you should do on the other hand is a little bit different. First, you need to figure out who you want to bring to Sephiroth himself, and which usually is gonna be your main party over here. So in this case, I want to bring myself, Timothy, and Alessia. You can still change these later, but you should try to figure out which is the best party that you have. In this case, I want to bring these three, so I gave the best stuff that I have to them. So as the equipment, well, now this says Bastard Sword, and we're gonna tell you why. But you want to keep the strongest weapon you have. In my case, it would be Ultimate Weapon. The Mistle is the best armor we have, and the Ribbon is the best accessory we have. Then, if we go on to Timothy, he's got a spear, but I'm gonna give him the Venus Gospel, which is the best weapon we have. And the Mistle, of course, best armor, and Ribbon, same thing. On Alessia, our best weapon is the Conformer, of course, and we have Mistle, and we have the safety bit, but I'd like to remove that. There's something better I could put there, which is, if you have it, the peace ring, instead of, if you don't have any third ribbon, you can get one if you morph the Tomb Berries in the final dungeon. The Tomb Berries are those little penguins like enemies with a star on top of their head. If you can morph one of them, that's pretty easy. If you have the Conformer and the morph materia, you can morph them, and then those morph into ribbons. But if you don't have a third ribbon, Peace Ring works just as fine, because it protects against confusion, and that's mainly what you want to protect against. Because you're gonna see tons of status effects into the final battle. And that's one thing. Then, so this is for the equipment. As for materia, well, let's go back to myself. Well, I could have equipped lots of more materials, but I want to have all the other party members be a little bit efficient too. I don't want to give them stupid material that doesn't do anything. So I have equipped this material, but you can equip whatever you want, whatever you think is better. But you have to make sure that every party member can do something. Eventually, your whole party is gonna split into 3 or 2 or 1, depending on how much you leveled and which characters you have with you. Because if you remember, Alessia and Nathaniel are not required. They could not be here because you haven't picked them up. But we'll talk about that later in more detail. For now, I've equipped Counterattack and Long Range, which are both Master. I have Master Magic, Master Command, and Master Summon, which means now my command list looks like this. I can do pretty much everything. Every command is available to me. We even have Coin, which we haven't seen yet. It says, what can I say? It's all about money. Well, with this command, you can basically throw Jill at the enemy. The more Jill you throw, the more damage you do, and it ignores defense, so you can throw very high amount of Jill to do 9,999 damage fixed. It could be useful, you know. Plus, down there, even though you gain some Gil, it doesn't matter even if you lose them, because will not be able to save after you beat the final boss. So that's it. Then there's enemy skill, of course, elemental and gravity. Elemental gravity, if you do have some elemental gravity, you can equip them, especially if you're going for the best final battle that you can get down there, and we're gonna say what that is later on. In here we have the shield, destruct, we have W magic, we have W item, we have time, we have long range, we have ultima, we have enemy skill, HP plus, and MP plus. Definitely on your party that's going down there, enemy skill is... do give one enemy skill each, because enemy skill, you know, it's a great material with lots of different commands. It's useful, definitely. Alessia has enemy skill, of course, revive, HP plus, then she has restore all, heal all. This heal pretty much sucks because he has only poison up, but whatever. And then the materia combination, which grants us immortality, basically, almost. It's final attack Phoenix. Well, what this does is whenever she dies, she casts the Phoenix, and Phoenix, what it does is casts life 2 on the whole party, plus it deals fire damage to the enemy, and we can use that up to 4 times in one battle. So every time she dies, she revives the whole party in one fell swoop, which makes her pretty powerful. Basically, we're basically immortal every time for 4 times. We have 4 extra lives basically, so this party hardly can lose. Okay, apart from that, well, we can't really check the other materials. We could, but yeah, there's really much to talk about there, because there's only a few materials lying around. I split the other members in different teams. We're gonna talk about that on the next episode, because yeah, we're not taking down the final boss in this episode if you haven't guessed it. But now, so what we're gonna do is do the thing that's before the final boss. Other things I should talk about. Well, actually, off screen, I've raised the level of my party a little bit. This is necessary to get the best final battle later on. You need to have an average level of about 58, I think. Not sure about that. Don't take my word for granted. And now all characters have their limit at level 4. Well, apart from Katut, which is level 2. You cannot go higher than that, but all the others have their final limit ready to go. But it's not ready to go. They have high limit bars actually. The other cards have high limit bars. We don't, but the others have for some reason. And yep, that's it basically. That's it. So now all we're left to do is to go down here and let's get going. Alright everyone, let's mosey. Damn, again! Stop saying it like a wimp. Can't you say move out or something? Move out! What? Look at the number. Damn, they're coming out in full force. Pharaoh, you go first. I'm fighting here too. Shut up, it won't do us any good with everyone back here. Barku's right. You take 2 of us with you and go first. The rest will catch up with you later. Is this like a practice run before the real thing? Yeah, a major practice run. Heh, I'm fine with that. It's probably more fun than fighting Sephiroth down there. Too bad you're coming with us. This might be fun to pass time. They're coming! They're ready on the floor next to us! Pharaoh, hurry up and make up your mind. So now you're choosing to reform. You will propose to just leave the party that you have right now, but you can take whoever you want. Just be careful that, yeah, in that descent you're gonna find tons of monsters. You should bring your best party, and this party will also be the party that will fight the first form of the final boss. Basically, there are 3 fights in the final boss. This party will fight the first one, and then you can make up all the parties over the other 2. It's a little bit complicated. We'll be explaining a lot more better in the next episode. Anyway, just take the best party here, basically. So select the start. Whoop. All of you. Later. Yeah, later. Okay, so now what we have to do is to jump from platform to platform. And every time we jump, there's a chance of a random encounter. We'll see how many we can get. Wow, we haven't got any so far. You can only go down, there's no way you're going back up. You can fight 3 different enemies here. Dragon Zombie, which is probably one of them. Okay, I want to show you something here. There's Dragon Zombie, which are the rarest. Then there's Alemanni, the one-eyed yellow bat thingy. And more common is Iron Man, which you haven't seen yet. He's like a big, bulky man with a giant sword. Anyway, what you can do with these guys... Of course, I could cast White Wind and be done with it. But... Angel Whisper is effective as well. Look at this. And White Wind can petrifies it. Even this one works. You know, fun. A cauldron? Isn't that freaking rare? I have no idea. But I think it's probably very rare to get from a dragon zombie. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to check that on the wiki or something. I think a cauldron is very rare to get from a dragon zombie. Let's see what we got here. See, this is called Iron Man. It's the most common enemy you'll fight down here. They're pretty easy though. We have our best weapons here, so we're just gonna pummel him to death. Yeah, still can. He counters with this Grand Sword attack, but we don't really care about that. We can just keep attacking. He'll die eventually. Okay, maybe we can use, you know, White Wind to raise our HPs a little bit before we lose too many. This will also help us to raise our limits a little bit before the final boss. Okay, it's highly unlikely that we're going to find the Alemanni. We made it. Okay, this is it. If I go where the ground is wide, that will start the final boss. But that will be done next time. Because now I'm going to explain what the rules will be for my challenge for the final boss. So what I have to equip is, everyone will have the weapon, their lowest attack weapon, the weapon they start with, their basic weapon. So I will have the Buster Sword, which, yeah, it even says initial equipping. Timothy has a spear, Alicia has a 4-point shuriken, and all the others have the weapon they start with. This is made so that my attacks won't be as much effective as they normally are. Otherwise I would do damage like in the several thousand of damage, which I could break the boss apart in no time. With this setup, I'll be forced to play more strategically with spells, which will be more interesting to see. Plus, another thing, I have banned the double cut material. The double cut material is just overpowered. Just try it if you don't believe me. Having 4 cuts on 2 characters will make them powerhouses even with their basic weapons. So I've banned double cut. All other materials can be used, except double cut. Double cut, it's like nope, double cut's not gonna be used. And then I've also managed to make a setup which is pretty balanced. It's not too strong, but even too weak. So that's it. Next time on Final Fantasy VII, we'll take out Sephiroth, and it's not just Sephiroth. We'll see what the final boss is, but we'll settle the score once and for all. See you guys then.